Young Elara woke expecting the usual symphony of hues that painted her world's sunlight. Warm and buttery yellow, always streamed through her window, dancing across the patchwork quilt stitched with emerald greens, sapphire blues, and poppy reds by her grandmother. But that morning, the light felt thin, pale, almost silver, rubbing her eyes. She stumbled to the window, her breath caught the vibrant scarlet roses climbing the trellis were now a muted, dusty gray. The lush lawn, usually a deep, vibrant carpet, looked faded, like an old, forgotten photograph. Even the sky, normally a bold, reassuring blue, stretched above her like a vast, sorrowful sheet of dull pewter. A cold dread, unfamiliar and heavy, settled in her small chest. Where had the world-Euro's joy gone? Confusion turned to quiet panic as Elara ventured downstairs. Her mother, humming while flipping pancakes that should have been golden brown, paused. The pancakes were a pale, sickly beige. "Mama," Elara whispered, her voice trembling. "Look outside." Her mother followed her gaze to the garden, her smile dissolving into disbelief. They rushed to the door. Stepping onto the porch, the transformation was absolute and terrifying. The cheerful daffodils lining the path were now ghostly white shapes. The bright blue front door was a washed-out shadow of itself. Neighbors emerged from their homes, faces etched with the same shock and growing fear, murmuring in hushed, bewildered tones as they pointed at the vanished vibrancy of their once colorful street. Everything was trapped in a spectrum of gray, white, and dismal charcoal. News crackled over the old radio. It wasn't just their village of Willow Creek. Reports flooded in from bustling cities and distant shores. The great fade was everywhere. Oceans lost their deep, mysterious sapphire, becoming vast plains of leaden water. Forests shed their myriad greens, standing like silent armies of gray sentinels. Flowers became mere gray suggestions of their former selves. Artists wept before blank canvases. Musicians found their instruments sounded flat and hollow without the visual inspiration they once drew from. A profound silence, heavy with loss, descended upon the world. People moved like ghosts through a landscape drained of its very soul, their expressions mirroring the bleakness outside their windows. Laughter vanished, replaced by sighs and worried whispers. Elara felt the grayness seeping into her own heart. Colors weren't just pretty things, they were feelings. The warm orange of a sunset was comfort, the bright green of new leaves was hope. Without them, the world felt cold, empty, and profoundly wrong. She found her grandmother sitting in her favorite armchair, staring at a treasured family photo album filled with pictures now rendered in monochrome. A single tear traced a path down the old woman's wrinkled cheek as she touched a faded image of Elara's grandfather, his once bright blue eyes now indistinguishable gray pools. "He loved the color of the sky," Grandma murmured, her voice thick with grief. Said it reminded him of freedom. Elara curled up beside her, sharing the deep, wordless sorrow. Days bled into each other, a monotonous tapestry of gray. People stopped gathering. Celebrations felt meaningless without festive decorations. The world seemed muted, not just visually, but emotionally. Then, one heavy, gray afternoon, while sorting through forgotten attic treasures, Elara found her mother's old music box dusty and neglected. It depicted a tiny ballerina, her painted dress now a uniform gray. With a faint sigh, Elara wound the stiff key. A hesitant, tinkling melody began, a simple, sweet tune her mother used to sing as the notes filled the dusty attic air. A memory, sharp and vivid, pierced through Elara's sadness, her mother's bright yellow sundress swirling as they danced in the kitchen, sunlight catching the red ribbons in her own hair. The feeling of color flooded back, warm and real. Driven by a sudden, desperate spark, Elara grabbed the music box and ran into the gray street. She placed it on the old village well and wound the key again, cranking it hard. The fragile, hopeful melody rang out louder, cutting through the oppressive silence. People paused in their gray routines, drawn by the unexpected sound. Elara closed her eyes, picturing that yellow dress, the red ribbons, the green grass beneath their dancing feet. She hummed along, then began to sing the words her mother used to sing. A simple song about sunshine and meadows. Her voice, small but clear, carried on the still air. One neighbor, remembering a field of purple lavender, softly joined in another, recalling the deep blue of a mountain lake, added his harmony like tiny sparks catching dry tinder. Voices rose around the well. Someone started clapping a gentle rhythm. An old man tapped his foot, remembering the crimson of his first bicycle. A woman swayed, humming, recalling the pink blush of her child's cheeks. They shared memories of color, the fiery orange of autumn maples, the cool turquoise of a summer river, the rich brown of freshly turned earth. They laughed, a sound long absent, as they described forgotten hues to each other as the shared emotion swelled. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd where Elara stood, a single blade of grass at her feet shimmered, then deepened into the most vibrant, impossible green. It spread, slowly at first, then like a wave, washing the gray from the roses, the lawn, the sky above. Gold returned to the sunlight, blue flooded the heavens, and flowers burst forth in a riot of reclaimed reds, yellows, pinks, and purples. The world didn't just regain its color. It blazed back with the intensity of a long-held breath. Finally released. The music box played on, its tune now a triumphant anthem. Elara looked around at the faces of her neighbors, no longer etched with despair but radiant with awe and pure, unadulterated joy, reflecting the kaleidoscope of hues around them. The air hummed with the chirps of reawakened birds and the vibrant sounds of life restored. They hadn't just found the colors. They had remembered them, together, pulling them back from the gray with the sheer, collective force of shared emotion and cherished memory. That night, as Elara snuggled under her gloriously multicolored quilt, watching the deep indigo twilight sprinkled with diamond-bright stars, she understood colors live not just in the world, but in the love, the music, the stories, and the shared heart of everyone who dared to remember and feel. The world, painted anew, felt infinitely more precious, a treasure rediscovered and forever cherished. Sleep came easily, wrapped in the warm, vibrant embrace of a world restored.